So, good evening, everyone. Shivam Kumar, Lutul Muni. Myself is Suneel. I'll be taking your Linux administration session. Uh, can I just confirm my voice is clear and okay, and you are able to hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, this course was supposed to start yesterday, but in my place there was power failure because of the rain. So I was just confirming to them I will be logging as soon as the power will come because unfortunately it took too much time. So we canceled the yesterday session. So let me now start with today's is our first session. So this course is about 1 month duration, but depending upon like a few days will extend. So roughly it will be like 32 to 34 days. So I'll go through today, first day, what are the topics which we are going to cover or discuss in this course. So before I proceed with that, let me just know from you, according to you, what is Linux? Because this course is about 1 month duration, which is roughly like it will extend to few days also, 32 to 34 days. So which will be about Linux administration. So before I proceed, I just would like to know what is the idea you have about Linux. So you can use your chat box or you can unmute your mic and please tell what is Linux according to you. Because this course is about Linux. So first we should know what is Linux. Then we can proceed. Yes. So can you just confirm everyone, according to you, whatever you feel, what is Linux or what you know about Linux, please tell. I write it in the chat box. Yes. What is Linux? Okay, from our friend Chandrasekhar who just joined us, written, okay, OS. What about others? Yes, Shivam, Lutul, Moni. According to you, what is Linux? You please use the mic or the chat box to tell, according to you, what is Linux. Already one answer I got from Chandrasekhar. Okay, from Lutul, I got one more answer. Very nice. Okay, Linux is an open source. Very nice. Shivam, Linux is an open source OS for computer servers, mobile devices, and embedded devices. Very nice. Only now who left? Muni, please, can you just write your view? What is Linux according to you? Then I'll proceed. Yes, Muni Kumar, can you able to hear me? If it is yes, please write now. According to you, what is Linux? I'm waiting for your reply. Yes, Muni Kumar, you are able to hear me? Can you please reply? What is Linux according to you? Okay. Let me continue now. So suppose yes, Shivam, we will start from that beginning and I will tell you what are the course content. Today I'll just go through the overview about what are the things which we are going to cover. Okay, just give me a few minutes. Okay, fine. So now let's try to understand what is Linux. After that, I will go through the what are the topics which we are going to cover in this course, which will be about like 32 to 34 days duration. So let me first start with what is Linux, because this course is about the Linux administration. So let's suppose this is my uh, computer. So as you know, a computer is a collection of hardware and software. Any computer is a collection of hardware and software. So in this, let's suppose a brand new computer, there is no OS installed. There is no OS in this computer. Now I'm sitting on this computer and trying to use this computer. Can I able to use this computer without OS? Please tell me yes or no. Now I'm sitting before a computer in which there is no OS. Can I able to use that computer? No, we can't use. Everybody knows this answer, yes? So suppose I want to know why we can't use the computer without OS. What can be the answer, or what will be the answer? Yes, why we can't use the computer or the system without any OS? What is the significance of the OS? After that, I'll come to what is Linux. Okay. Okay, fine. So why we can't communicate? Why we can't communicate without OS? So for that simple thing you can remember is like that. Before I put to that why we cannot use, let me just take one simple example so that you can understand in simple and easy way. Let us assume that like I am belonging from the Telangana. So here we speak mostly which language? Telugu. So let us assume I know only Telugu language. And let us know that you know some other language, like example, Hindi language. Let's assume you know only Hindi language and I know only Telugu language, and we need to communicate with each other. So if you are facing this issue, how do you tackle it? How we can communicate with each other? I know only Telugu, you know only Hindi. So how we can communicate? Tell me if you are facing this issue or this scenario, if you are facing, what you will do in this scenario? Yes, I hope you are understanding. So what you will do now? We need to communicate with each other, but I know Telugu language, only Telugu language. You know only Hindi language. So what you can do in this case to communicate with me? Yes. Any answers, anybody? Yes, simple. What you can do in this scenario? Yes. So simple thing is you have to look for some third person who knows your language and my language. Do you agree with this? We have to search one person, third person, who knows my language and your language. What will call that person? Translator or mediator. Yes, do you agree with this? Do you agree with this?
Yes.
Yes, so exactly same scenario here. So you might be knowing a computer is a collection of hardware. So where the hardware understand only one language. So the computer hardware understand which language? Yes. Can I have your reply? Computer hardware understand which language? Computer hardware understand which language? Binary language. Which language? Binary language. Binary language means which is in the form of, yes? Binary language means which is in the form of what? Which is in the form of zeros and ones. So computer hardware understand only one language. What is that? Binary language. Binary language means which is in the zeros and ones. Whereas the software understand high level language. So what do you mean by high level language? Which is in the form of numbers, alphabet, special character. So now it is similar to like that. We took the example. I know only Telugu, you know only Hindi. So how we can communicate? We need a third person who understand my language and your language. That person we call as a mediator, a translator. So exactly same way, computer hardware understand. It is called binary language or low level language. And software understand high level language. So they don't understand each other language. So can we able to operate the computer? No. So we have to install some or the other OS. So how do you define any operating system? Any operating system is a physical thing or logical thing? It's a logical thing. Any operating system is a collection of programs. Any operating system is a collection of programs. So this collection of program acts like acts as a interface, acts as interface between the hardware and software. So using this interface, we means human beings can operate the computer. So that is why if you want to use the computer, it is compulsory, mandatory, or essential. Some or the other OS should be installed. I hope now, did you understood? Everyone understood the importance of OS? Is that clear to everyone? Yes, can I get your reply? Did you understood? Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now most of the computer in the world are working on which OS? Tell me. Which of the most of the computer in the world are, according to you, working on which OS? Yes, can I get the answer according to you? Okay, I got one answer from our friend Chandrasekhar, Linux. Everybody think that? So if you check or ask anybody, you can see most of the computers in the world are working on Windows OS. Most of the computer in the world are using which OS? Windows OS. First is the Windows. Next most commonly used OS is Linux. And the third common used OS in the world is Mac OS. So these are the three major OS which is being used in the world. So then your question, your doubt will be why we are discussing Linux when most of the people are using Windows. So the answer for that is Windows have a graphical interface and it is easy to operate. So most of the computer in the world are working on are using Windows OS, which is designed by Bill Gates under the company called Microsoft, US-based company, using the DOS. So you have to remember Windows OS is designed by Bill Gates using the DOS under the company called Microsoft. So most of the computer in the world are working on Windows. Then why we are discussing Linux? So most of the computer which are being used using the Windows OS, they are especially using mostly for, I'm not saying all, but it is mostly used for client operators. Mostly used by clients. So Windows operating system mostly it is used by clients or for home purpose because it is easy to operate, but it is having less security. So if you want to work like a administrator, you have to work on the servers. So most of the servers, I'm not saying all, but most of the servers in the world are working on Linux. So most of the servers in the world are working on Linux. So if you want to work like a system administrator or Linux administrator, this course is very important. So that's why we are discussing this course as a Linux administration. Because most of the servers in the world are working on Linux because of its features. Because of its features, or you can say important feature is security. So even the Microsoft company will accept Linux is more secure and it will work more faster compared to Windows. So that is the reason now most of the servers are working on Linux compared to most of the clients or most of the people in the home using for home purpose and client purpose Windows. And some servers are also there, but if you compare the computers worldwide who are using which OS as per their servers in the company, you will find most of the servers in the world are running on Linux because it provides very good security, stability, faster performance compared to the Windows. But Linux OS is not as easy to operate as Windows. But once you work on a Linux, it is similar to like mathematics. The more you practice, more easier it will become. So once you get a grip over the Linux, you can do your work very fastly and with a good security. That's why people will suggest you, if you are working on a servers, you should know, or most of the servers in the companies are working on Linux. So that's why we should know about the Linux. So this course is ideal for the people who are looking to work on the servers as a administrator. So administrator job is what? Managing the network. So in the network, you will have what? Many systems. In that, most of the systems are client and some of the systems will be server. So we need to manage this system and the users. So managing the network, which consists of users and computer. The person who manage the network by using the OS that is called system administrator. So as an administrator, we can manage the users and computer with the help of the operating system. So if you are using the Linux as the operating system to manage your network, then you will be called a Linux system administrator. If you are using the Windows OS to manage your network, then it is called Windows system administrator. So system administrator means which uses the OS to manage the network. So in every organization to manage your servers, so that server is working on which OS. Based on that, as a person, as an administrator, we should have a knowledge first on the OS. So that's why this is a foundation and fundamental course. So if you want to work like a Linux administrator, then this course is, you can ask anybody, mandatory and important. So with this course, your foundation will become good. So the course depth will be such that the topics will be such that we can able to, once you do with this course, you can easily able to work like a Linux administrator as a first step. So this course is suitable to work or to, once you're done with this course, you will be eligible to work like a Linux system administrator. So here only our like growth will not stop. This is the beginning. So if you want to work like a Linux administrator, this is the course must. Without this, you cannot work like a Linux administrator. So after doing this course, here the saturation will be there? No. So this course depth will be such that a person who is having like a gap up to 2 to 3 years easily you can cover. And the person who is a fresher, it is more than enough for them. Now our friend asked me, uh, if I am new to this course, can I able to understand? Some people will ask this question. I am not from the engineering background. I don't know much about the computer. Can I learn this course? Some people will ask, do I need to know any coding or programming languages to learn this course? So for all this question, the simple answer is anybody can do this course from any stream, any background. The course is designed in a such a way that if you are a fresher, you can able to understand. If you have a gap up to 2 to 3 years, you can easily cover. Because now after this, I'll show you the our course content. So the course is designed in a such a way that anybody can do this course, even as a fresher or having a gap up to 2 to 3 years, you can cover. So once you're done with this course, you will be eligible to work like a system administrator. Then you can also move to the next level. So once your Linux once you are good with the Linux, you can go to the next level, that is on the cloud. Everybody's talking about the cloud. So on the cloud, there are three major players, three major companies. One is AWS. Second one is what? Azure Cloud, AWS Cloud, Azure Cloud, and the Google Cloud. So out of that, the majority of the companies in the world are preferring AWS. So if you want to work on the AWS, you should know the Linux. Without Linux, you cannot work on that. Then after going to the cloud, AWS cloud, your next level, next target will be what? AWS cloud or the Azure cloud. For that also Linux is required. So this is your foundation. So once, as you know, foundation is strong, you can go to the next level. Even if you want to work like a SAP admin, VMware admin, Linux knowledge is required. So I hope you understood the importance of this course. Now let us focus on the Linux operating system. So why the companies prefer to use the Linux? So let us assume now our machine is installed with the Linux OS. So how the computer will work with the Linux, we'll try to understand. So this is the computer. In this computer, let us assume we have installed Linux OS because Linux is more secure compared to the other OS, and it will work much faster compared to other OS. These are some of the important features of Linux OS. So any OS is a collection of programs. So same way, Linux OS is also a collection of programs. So this Linux OS also is a collection of programs. So this collection of, just give me a minute, my battery got low. So now this collection of programs, is logically divided into, Linux collection of program is logically divided into two levels. So the first level is called level 1, is divided into two levels, level 1 and level 2. So here level 1, your first program is your shell. So the first program of the Linux OS is the shell. So what is the default shell we uses in Linux? What is the default shell we uses in the Linux? /bin/bash. So this is the name of the shell. So this shell we will get by default whenever we open the terminal. So whenever we open the terminal, by default, so when we, to apply the command, you need to open what in Windows OS? We have to open the command prompt. In Linux, to apply the command, we need to open the terminal. So once we open the terminal, by default, by default with the terminal, what will get open or what we will be using by default once we open the terminal? What we will be using? The shell. Which shell? /bin/bash. This is the shell. So what is the role of this shell? What the shell will do? Once we open the terminal, you will open the shell. So what is the role of the shell? Which shell we are using by default? /bin/bash. So what is it will do? So the purpose of the shell is what? First thing it will do, it will check the command written on the terminal is correct or not. So first thing it will do is it will check the command given is correct or not. It will check the command is correct or not. So if the command is not correct, you will get a message what? Command not found. If the command is correct, after the checking the command, it will check. Now the user have the privilege to run that command or not. Now after checking the command, if it is correct, then it will check the user have the privilege. Which user has given that command? Normal user or administrator? So in Linux, the administrator is called as what? Can anybody please write the answer? In Linux, the administrator is referred as what? With what name? Like in Windows, the administrator is called administrator account. In Linux, the administrator is called as what? Very nice, Chandrasekhar. It is called root. Everybody please remember. It is root. So can we change that name? No. So root will have the full access. If any other user writes some command, so the command is correct or not, it will check. Shell. If the command is correct, then it will check. Once the command is correct, then the shell will check the user have the privilege or not. It will check the user have the privilege to run that command. If it is yes, user privilege, it will check. So most of the command user cannot run, only root can run. So if the user have the privilege, then what the shell will do? First, it will check the command is correct or not. After checking, it will check the user have the privilege or not. If the user have the privilege, it will convert the command. It will convert the command from high level to low level. That is binary. It will convert the command from high level language, because it is written in high level language, into the binary, because the computer understand only binary language. So now it comes to the level 2. Now level 2 is your kernel. The next program of the Linux OS is kernel. So kernel is called the main program of the Linux OS. This is the main program of the Linux. So this kernel is also called the core or the brain of the Linux OS. It is called the core or the brain of the Linux OS. So what the brain does for us in our body, it will control and manage all our activities. Brain will not do any work, but which part of the body should do what work in which scenario, in what case, it will be decided and controlled and managed by in our body by brain. So same way, what the kernel will do, kernel will control and manages all the tasks. Once the task is given or command is written, so it will control and manage all the tasks with the help of the computer, which is consist of software and hardware. So now now it will send that input which the user has written. Now it will first the shell will check the command is correct. If it is correct, then it will check the user have the privilege or not. If user have the privilege, it will convert that from high level to binary and it's sent to the Linux kernel. Now kernel will check this particular task should be done by which hardware and task. So it will be done by CPU or our processor. It will send that task by kernel to our hardware and the software, that is CPU. Then it will do the task. Now output will be available in binary. So if it displays on the output, will be able to get the, will be able to see, understand the output? No. So now, once the kernel, once the kernel control and manage the task with the help of the software and output, so the output will be available in binary language. So now the human beings cannot understand binary language. So what it will do? The kernel will send the output, which is in binary format, which is in binary format. It will send it to the, again to the shell. Again, it will send the output. Once it is ready, it will send to the shell. Now, what the shell will do? What the shell will do? It will convert now. It will convert the output. It will convert the output from binary to high level language and displays on the monitor. So this is how the Linux will work. I hope you got some idea. So please tell me, did you got the idea how the Linux OS will work? Once we are using the Linux OS in the background, this is what happens. Is that clear? Please tell me yes or no. Okay. Okay, fine. Now, now here, I'll be sharing you 3 files. Once you do the payment, 3 files I'll be sharing. One is this practical step file, in which all the practical step from first day to last day according to our course content will be there. So this file I'll be sharing you, plus this course content is divided into 2 parts. So I'll give you the brief idea about what are the topics which we are going to cover in this course. So this course, which is about 32 to 34 days, this course is divided into 2 parts. This course is divided into 2 parts. So this Linux course, we have divided this into 2 parts. So they are called standalone admin part and network admin part. So now I have made 3 files. One is notepad file for the practical of complete standalone and network admin. And one file, theory part, I made standalone admin part, one theory part, and one theory part, network admin part I made. So I'll share you these 3 files, 2 files for the theory, 1 file for standalone, 1 file for theory of the network, and 1 practical step file in this. Both this part will be covered. Okay. So here, let me show you what are the topics which we are going to discuss in this course, starting with the standalone part. So first we will see introduction of Linux. So already we just started with what is Linux, how it will work. Now we will discuss a little bit more in introduction part. After that, we will see the features of Linux. Then after that, the distributors of Linux. Then after that, we'll discuss the structure of Linux OS. So if you want to understand any operating system, you should know where exactly what data stores. So that we are going to discuss in structure of Linux OS. After that, we will see installation of Linux OS. So first 3 days, you will have only theory part. The practical will start from the 4th day onwards when we do the installation. So this course we are going to do by using the RHEL7. By using RHEL, in place of RHEL7, we'll be using what? CentOS 7. which is exactly same. So once you work on 7, you can easily work on 6 also, 8 also. Latest one is 9. So you can work on the 9. The command, the structure, everything remain same. Okay. So most of the servers in the world, as per the Linux, working on 7. That's why we are going to use the RHL 7 equivalent version CentOS 7. What is the difference between RHL and CentOS? We'll discuss, don't worry. I'm just giving you first the overview. So after that, we will discuss the basic commands. Like one of our friends asked whether we'll be starting this course from the scratch because he's new to this Linux. So the answer is yes. So here I just written basic commands. But this topic, basic commands, we will be discussing for minimum 3 to 4 days. So in the basic commands, what we will do first, after the installation is over, first thing we'll see how to log in as a root. Root means administrator. Then how to open the terminal to apply the command. Then how to check we are in which directory by using pwd, present working directory. Then how to change the directory by using cd. How to check inside the directory what is there by using ls. So all these basic things will start in basic commands. After that, we will proceed with creation of files. In basic commands, we will discuss how to create a file. So in Linux, the text file are created by using 3 commands. So all the 3 commands we'll see. First, how to create file with cat, then how to create a file with a touch command, then how to create a file and modify the file with VI editor. So after knowing how to create the files, we will discuss in basic commands how to create a directory, single directory, multiple directory. After that, we will be discussing parental directory. So after knowing how to create files and directory, we'll be discussing next how to copy the files and directory, how to rename, and finally in basic command, how to delete the files and directory by using rm command. So that is how much we'll discuss in basic commands. After that, we will be discussing what is soft link and hard link, what is the difference, how to identify soft link and hard link, what is the use of the soft and hard link, we'll see. After that, the booting process. Booting means loading of the Linux OS. So whenever we install the Linux OS or any OS, where it will be stored on the hard disk. So when we power on the machine, will you get the immediate login? No. So it will take time. So in the background, what happens? The OS will get loaded from the hard disk to RAM. So once the OS is loaded from hard disk to RAM, you will get the login screen. So in Linux, loading of the OS from the hard disk to RAM takes place in 6 stages. So we'll discuss complete 6 stages in the booting process. BIOS, MBR, the stages name these are BIOS, MBR, grub, then kernel, then init or target, then the run level, system defile, and then run levels. Run levels are called target. So again, in the run level, 6 run levels are there. In which run level, what happens, we'll see. Then after that, all fundamental basic things will be over. After that, we'll start the administration part. So as the administrator, you should know how to create a user. So in the user administration, we'll see how to create a user, assign the password to the user, how to log in, where the user data will be stored in the user database file, how to open that user database file with filtering commands. So we'll see auto filtering commands like header, tail, grep, WC, what command, all these things we'll discuss in user administration. After that, we'll start next topic, group administration. So what is a group? Group is a collection of users. So group is created for what? To assign same permission to multiple users. So whenever we want to assign same permission to multiple users, before applying the permission, we should know how to create a group, how to add the users who require same permission into the group. So we'll see that in group administrations. So once we know how to create a group and how to add the user into the group, where the group information is stored, then we will start the permission, how to apply the permission on users and group to control the users and group as per the company requirement. For that, we have to apply permission. So in Linux, we have three types of permission: basic file permission, access control list, and advanced file permission. So we'll start with basic file permission, in which permission is given by using categories like owner, group owner, and others. So if you want to apply the permission, different permission to different user individually, then we have to use ACL, access control list. So that also we'll see how to apply different permission to different users and group. After that, we'll start the advanced file permission, which is also called as a special permission. In that, again, we have three types of advanced file permissions: set UID, set GID, and sticky bit. So what happens in set UID, set GID, and sticky bit, we'll see in detail in advanced file permission. After that, the first part in system admin will be over, or standalone will be over. Next part will be what? Disk management. Second part will be what? Disk management, means how to manage the disk. So to manage the disk, that is hard disk, we need to create partition. We need to create what? Partition. So we'll be discussing in second part of our standalone topic, disk management, in which we will see how to create a partition. So after creating the partition, how to access the partition with the directory using temporary mounting and permanent mounting. After that, we'll see also swap logical memory, how it will improve the system performance. After that, we'll see very important topic, LVM, how to apply or how to combine the multiple hard disk or partition into LVM by creating three components: physical volume, volume group, logical volume, through which LVM will be created. So LVM means logical volume management, through which we will combine multiple partition or hard disk into a single storage space, through which we will do the resizing, increasing of our file system space. Very important concept that we'll see. After that, we'll see the RAID levels, how to apply the software RAID by using RAID level 0, 1, 5. So which level is best? RAID level 5. So we'll see how to configure the RAID level 5 using the software RAID. Then after that, we'll be discussing the another important part of administrator is to prevent the data loss. As administrator, we have to take the backup. So in Linux, backup of users' data is taken by using the dump command. So in the dump command, we have to take three types of backup. First backup will be called full backup. So then everyday backup, we have to take incremental backup. On the every company will have backup cycle 15 days or 1 month. So on the last day, we have to add all incremental backup, that is called differential backup. So the complete backup will be full backup plus differential backup. So that we will see in dump command. After that, how to take the backup of the user's data or the user's files and directory by compressing it with gunzip tool, that we will see in tar command. How to take the backup of a directory by compressing it with the gunzip tool, we'll see in tar command. Then how to take the backup of multiple files using CPI, we will see. After that, we'll see scheduling of jobs. Automation also called using AT and cron tab. Then we will discuss how to monitor our server using PS command and top command. Whatever task is running, which task is not required, how to kill them, how to terminate that, we'll see in PS and top command. After that, we will start with the network admin part. So where we will see first how to install the application using RPM and yum. So in Red Hat, we will install the application using RPM and yum. How to install that, we'll see. After that, we'll see how to assign the IP. Then configure the server. Server means which provides services. So important part in server is to do the sharing. So for sharing in Linux, we have three types of servers, starting with FTP server, which will allow the sharing of files, only files, not directory, from Linux to any OS to Linux. Then NFS, which will allow the sharing of files and directory both, but only Linux to Linux. Then Samba server, which allow the sharing of files and directory from Linux to Windows, Windows to Linux. So all the three servers we'll see for sharing purpose. After that, we'll see how to configure DNS, which can resolve name into IP to name with the help of the forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone with their records. After that, we'll be discussing how to host the website using Apache Web Server. To host the website with Apache Web Server and access the website by name with the help of DNS. After that, we'll see how to assign the IP to the client by configuring DHCP server. Then we'll see how to take the remote desktop with SSH and how to copy data from one machine to another with SCP. Telnet we are not using. It's outdated. It is not secure. In place of Telnet, we are using SSH. So this is your total course content, which will be done in a duration of 32 to 34 days. So I gave you the overall idea about the course content. Then tomorrow, same timing, we'll start tomorrow with introduction of Linux. So what is Linux? As our today, most of you said correctly, open source operating system. So who designed this OS? What is meant by open source? What are the features in Linux? We'll continue tomorrow. So before I close today's session, you can ask if you have any queries, any doubt, any question, please ask.
Sir, can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Yes.
Sir, can I speak in Telugu, sir?
Telugu I can understand, but during the session we'll be speaking only Telugu. Okay.
Right, sir. The question is, sir, everyone says Linux is more secure when compared to Windows operating system.
Yes.
Can you please tell in simple words, sir, how it is secured while compared to Windows? Simple words, sir.
So see here, that is what we will discuss tomorrow. The shell. First it is doing what? Checking the command is correct or not. Then
Yes,
if it is correct, the user have the privilege or not. So in
yes, sir.
Linux, we'll see that tomorrow. File will not have execute permission. So if any user send the virus file, in Windows, the user knowingly or unknowingly can execute. But here, if an unknown file comes or unknown commands come, it will not run. That's why it is secure. And it has a extra security. In Windows, you have only firewall. In Linux, you have, apart from firewall, IP table, SC Linux, which makes Linux very secure. Apart from
Yes,
the
sir.
Linux OS can be installed on multiple partition, whereas Windows OS single partition. So it is easy to operate, but if in Windows, if one of the OS folder get corrupted, entire OS will be affected. But in Linux, that will not happen because Linux OS can be installed on multiple partition. Yes, proceed.
Sir, what you are saying is, sir, for example,
Hmm.
I'm using a Windows client machine, say like Windows 10 Professional.
Hmm.
I generally used to go to Gmail and check my emails. So somebody has sent some attachment, sir. Actually, it is some virus file.
Hmm.
As and when I click on that attachment, Windows operating system simply runs that file,
Yes.
that executable file. What
Yes.
you're saying?
Hmm.
Okay, but while coming to
Linux
Linux,
environment. If
but
anybody send it, you will not
uh,
have the execute permission as a user. If you want to run, also not. If you have the permission also, that file will not run because it will run only the predefined commands.
sir, predefined command. Say, sir,
Means
when
whatever command is there, if you give that, that only will run. So if you write some new thing, it will simply say command not found.
sir, how it will determine, sir? See, for
So
example,
that's what the
some
role of the shell, no? It will check the command is there in the user list or in the list which is given by the OS.
okay. So for example, sir, something in Windows it is written that actual that file is virus file chwkx.exe. It will simply run Windows operating system. But whereas in Linux, what you're saying is the same .rpm something it was determined, it
It will
won't
not run. It will not run.
Okay. It won't run.
Okay,
Fine, sir. Fine, sir. Clear. Thank you, sir.
okay. Anybody else have any question, any doubt? So can I close the session?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you. Good night. See you tomorrow.
Right.